How's it going, everybody? Graydon here, the Last Pack Magic Podcast. We've got the finale today, and we had to have Justin Underwood, Spidey Hits on. How's it going, buddy?
Man, I am well. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here on the Last Pack Magic Podcast. Really appreciate, what you've been doing, the people you've had on. Honored to be here.
I really appreciate you joining us. It's been fun doing a podcast. It's kind of funny to have like a season finale of it, but this is going to be, I believe, the 12th episode. And I wanted to get some people on without any repeats and have some conversations about things that are relevant with collectors.
But 12th episode in what, 3 weeks?
Well, they've been recorded. There's still some to come out. My schedule.
Okay.
So yeah.
I mean, you've really put out some content, which look, I'm thrilled about.
Thank you.
The hobby is more healthy when there's more voices and opinions and thoughts, celebrating what we enjoy, with Marvel cards. It can't be just a narrow few, people. Plus, I want to watch and listen to something. I don't want to have to watch my own stuff.
For sure. I know. I appreciate that. I've been making a consistent effort at using my spare moments to make videos that I would want to see. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it'd be fun. So speaking of which, today's topic that we're going to discuss is going to be YouTube channels.
Yeah, let's do it.
And how YouTube channels are playing a role in the collecting hobby, with Marvel cards specifically. Mm-hmm. So why don't you let us know, what's your channel? Who are you? Who do you collect?
Yeah, I'm Justin Underwood. I am a YouTube content creator with specific emphasis on Marvel trading cards, but Marvel in general. And we, also tend to get off on some life topics here and there because, we are adults and there are adult themes in all of this. But primarily Marvel cards. I do open up a lot of product for unboxing. And that really comes from a place of, as someone who grew up, who felt very fortunate just to get a pack to open, but did not have a lot. We were not a wealthy family. We were pretty poor for that matter, kind of a trailer park kid, if you will. And I had a twin brother, so that had to be divided and split. And we didn't get to open a lot. And then when I started coming back into the hobby, I was like, everything's on YouTube, right? And I go to YouTube, and there's really very little content around opening boxes. And even the content that was there, not that it was bad, it just wasn't great. I don't know how to say it. There wasn't like this, it wasn't lively. It didn't have like life around it. It was just open the box, kind of thing. And even that was very limited. So I was like, you know what? I'm now in a place in life that's very different than what I grew up. And, if I have the means and ability to enjoy these cards, why not document it in a way that others around the world really can enjoy it and have an experience of it? And inadvertently, what it becomes for me is like a video journal that I get to go back and appreciate, enjoy, years from now. Say when I'm 70, if I want to go back and watch me and my brother open up a box of Marvel masterpieces from 1994, well, that's on the channel. I can go do that. And so I really love that as well.
I think that's a great way of looking at it. How has creating a YouTube channel changed the hobby for yourself? Because you started opening and your channel took off. So how have things changed for you?
Well, I think one thing to realize is that as a collector of Marvel cards, I didn't know that cards were really available when I started making YouTube videos. The YouTube videos I made at first were around Marvel Legends and kind of going out and hunting those in store. This was all kind of leading up to the pandemic, and around the pandemic. So, even finding Marvel Legend action figures, you kind of had to time it right and all this kind of stuff. And I was doing toy hunt videos, really enjoyed it. Even some toy review videos, but I was not making content about Marvel cards until my brother, who owned a comic book shop previously, was like, hey, I think Marvel cards is having a moment right now on eBay. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, these 1990 Marvel Universe cards that we had as a kid, some of those are selling for a lot of money. And that just kind of reawoke an interest, and it had me finally find some information that Marvel cards was actually still being made. And some of those cards were actually really beautiful. They were pretty special in a sense. But it was this just like, I don't know, I don't want to say it's like treasure hunting. But it was like kind of finding a secret path in the woods, and then you finally make your way through all the bushes and everything, and then it opens up and there's like this whole place that you didn't know exists, right? I don't know if you ever did any kind of trail walks as a kid and stumble upon a beautiful waterfall or spring or pond or whatever, but that was what it was kind of like. It was like, I can't see it, I can't see it, I can't see it. And then one day it opened up. It was like, oh wow, look at this. Marvel cards is still here, still a thing. And it was this real small community, but there wasn't a lot of content around it. And I began to struggle with this making content around Marvel Legends and the whatever hundreds of followers I had at the time. They were coming from the Marvel Legends content, but my affection and attention quickly shifted to something that I enjoyed even more as a kid, which was trading cards. And the video still exists on the channel today, where I was like, hey guys, I'm sorry, but the content's about to change. It's going to Marvel cards. And, I hope you don't feel hoodwinked in any way. I didn't know that I was going to be making this content, but here I am. This is the content that I want to make. And it just continued from there.
I want to circle back to opening boxes on channels. I really enjoy watching box breaks. I enjoy watching them if it's a product that I've opened a lot of, or if it's one that I've never opened and I don't plan on opening. It's really part of the experience where I didn't open boxes as a kid, and as an adult, I am opening some, but I'm vicariously living through a lot of people on YouTube. I just appreciate getting to see the cards come out of the box and the excitement and all of it. I think that's one of the major services of these channels. Your channel has broken a lot of boxes, and I love that that's out there for people to view.
Yeah, I think it is pretty special, the fact that, I can open a box privately. And I have on occasion here and there, but I kind of have a rule that if I open a box, it's got to be on camera. It's just a personal rule that I have. But I have opened some privately, and it's just not the same experience. I'm not saying it's not as fun, but there is something about, I'm in this theoretical playground with my friends. And the way we're connecting is through video. It just happens to be on YouTube, right? And when you see it or experience it, now we can have a conversation about it. There's some connectivity there that happens with it. And that has just changed the experience for me as someone who opens boxes. The other part is this. I'm a creative by nature. If I wasn't doing YouTubes, I'd be drawing. If I wasn't drawing, I'd play the guitar. If I wasn't playing the guitar, I could do something else. Like it is probably attached to some ADD, whatever in my brain, but I have to create something every day. And what it does for me is, so not only do I get this kind of, dopamine hit of enjoyment for opening the box, but if I'm doing a video, like if I'm recording it, then I get this editing process. I get this creative process where, I kind of have now that I've opened, I have the storyboard in my head about how to, cut and edit and do it in a way that, represents the experience, but also is enjoyable to the viewer. And that's another part of that I really love. In fact, I'll go ahead and say this. There was a time in 2023 where just about every video I was doing was live. And it was live because people wanted to be in on the experience. They wanted to do a live chat or be with me on video while I was opening it. And I wasn't getting that creative, experience with editing videos. And I kind of had to shut it down for a little bit. I was like, hey, I've gotten kind of lazy as a creator, and I'm not enjoying it as much because I don't have that additional creative outlet of editing videos.
It's a really good point. The creativity can really come through in the editing with you getting to make a video chopped up the way that you saw it playing out in your head, rather than how it just played out actually in real time, one shot, no go backs.
Absolutely.
How has making content and having a YouTube channel that's taken off affected your professional life? Because I can only imagine how many hours you put into your channel.
Yeah, look, I mean, I have a bit of a workaholic personality, and there's been seasons of my life where a YouTube channel would not have been possible. Just in my ability to be efficient as a leader and a producer in my job, but also just the sheer demand of my time that my work has taken me. It was a time when I was running a real estate appraisal office that I own called Underwood Appraisals, and I would literally go in on Monday morning and I would work all day, all night, and then as long as I could into the following Tuesday until I'd fall asleep in my chair. Wow. And then I'd sleep and I'd wake up and I'd do it again as long as I could. If I could go back to that Justin now, I probably wouldn't have done that. But I thought that's what it took at the time. But that was, that was just, I was making two incomes. My wife has never worked outside of the home. She's never earned an income. Mm-hmm. And so from day one at 19 years old, I've had to earn two incomes. And so YouTube would not have been a possible thing. So now fast forward to where we're at now. It's just about honoring my word. So if I give my word to myself and work that I'm going to do something or be about something, then that's what I'm about. Mm-hmm. But I also have, part of me is like, I want to also have a life, right? Yeah. I wasn't put here on the planet just to work 100% of the time for someone else or for a job. I work is a positive word for me, by the way. It's not a negative word.
Yes.
But there are things that I enjoy. I'm gonna make YouTube videos this week, Lord willing, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm gonna go to dance and have dance practice. There's other things I do outside of this. I'm gonna go to church on Sunday morning. I'm going to do a Bible study. I'm going to do other things. Like there are other things in my life other than YouTube. And so it's important that it fits within the rhythm of my life. Mm-hmm. For someone who's making YouTube content, if YouTube is the only place that you're getting some of your kind of, how do I say this well? And because there's a variety of different people listening. So I don't want to apply one word, but
time.
If you have a sense like this is where you're getting your approvals or you're getting your likes or you're getting, whatever is it, your validation, whatever fuels you up, that can be real problematic because it can have you compromise and make decisions to try to serve getting those things rather than you serving the things that you've given your word to, right? And so I'd encourage you to have other places and things in your life, not just YouTube. So that it's not the only thing, that you're not riding kind of this roller coaster of emotion of, am I getting views? Are people liking the content? Am I getting good feedback? Or whatever it is that you're measuring yourself by. Mm-hmm. And so I would say that's really important. And then find the rhythm. For me, I found a very particular rhythm that fits into my life and my wife and my kids' life where they don't notice it as much. Like it's not where it's dad. It's in a space where they're not even here. They're not paying attention. If that makes sense.
Something that high functioning people, I think, unanimously have in common is excellent time management skills. Mm-hmm. Would you say you have good time management skills? And if so, at what age did you figure out how valuable your time was?
There was a time where I thought being busy was like manic, just work. If I was on the phone, someone called, like, hold on, wait, let me talk to them. Like, it was just a constant kind of frantic thing, very reactional, and time management wasn't solved. There was production, but not like maximum production with efficiency. And it cost me dearly. It almost cost me my marriage at one time. I wasn't very healthy. There was lots of expenses related to that. In 2018, I put on my vision board for that year that I wanted to be present. Whatever that was. If I was with you, I was with you. Like you left with, okay, I was heard, I was understood, I wasn't rushed. And that became something that was intentional for me. And not only was it intentional, I even paid money for coaching with it. Right. And so I began to invest in myself and learn, why would I not be present? What's keeping me from being present? And part of it was a big old people pleaser muscle that I had that worked out, right? Trying to make everybody happy all the time. And learning that, first of all, I think people know you're just not going to make everybody happy.
It's true.
the word happy can be like a really dangerous word.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want you to be happy? No, I want you to be healthy. And I hope it brings you some amount of joy. And when it doesn't, like, I hope you know I'm here. Like, like and so turning off that people pleaser muscle and not being kind of driven by that or the shame of people not being happy all the time was part of it. And then from there was like actually learning for me, for Justin, what integrity means. Integrity, I think at one time it only meant to me like, hey, whatever you do in the light, you also do in the dark when nobody's watching. You have integrity, right? You're not putting out a false front. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I held the word for a long time. And then, through coaching, like it was made aware to me, like actually integrity is much broader. If you have a car and it goes down the road, right? Like it runs, then it's running like it was created or designed to run. It's in integrity. Mm-hmm. But if the tires go flat, it's out of integrity. And what happens when the tires are flat? The person behind you whose tires work perfectly fine can't do what it was created to do because you're now blocking the path.
Interesting. I like that.
And so I began to realize that there were areas of my life that were, quote, out of integrity because I was not honoring my word. So if I said I was going to be somewhere, I was there. Yeah. And if I couldn't be there on time, the person knew as soon as I knew I was going to be there, they knew I wasn't going to be there, and I would clean up my mess. Mm-hmm. And so it was moving into this place of, am I honoring my word? And that led to, okay, am I operating off of a to-do list or a calendar? Okay. And that was a big shift for me because I used to be a to-do list guy. And it was just like, what gets on? Like, oh no, there's another panic situation. Now it's on the to-do list. And the thing I said I was going to do, I'm not doing.
Right.
Well, now I'm out of integrity. And so I moved from a to-do list to a calendar. And so now my day is shaped. My to-do list, my calendar is my to-do list. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. And I think that's scheduling in the things that need to get done rather than behaving surprised when they come up on your list in an urgent matter is a really good way of looking at time management. With the amount of effort that you've put into all of this and creating a YouTube channel, how has it changed you as a collector?
Ooh. I mean, okay, so YouTube and me collecting in the modern way that people experience me now happen simultaneously. Mm-hmm. They did not happen separately.
So you're getting to watch you live collect. Like your collecting is on YouTube, and that's.
Well, so as a kid, I had my binder cards, right? And even some were like in little boxes and things of that nature. Okay. Then through the 2000s or late 90s, 2000s, my brother, when he owned a comic book shop, be like, hey, some of these cards came in, you want to come by and see them? But there was nothing attached to it other than a childhood memory. And so I would pick up a few little things here and there, but buying on eBay, that kind of stuff, like that did not exist to me. Number one, I didn't have any money, right? And so it wasn't even, and then up until 2000, I'm going to say 2018 again, because that's when we built our house. Up until 2018, my wife did not want our stuff, any of my Marvel stuff in our house.
I know that story. Yeah.
She was very adamant. She did not want to see it. She didn't want to talk about it. It wasn't, she's not a Marvel fan. And the reality is the house belongs to her. It's her domain. It's her job. That's where she works every day. She runs a tight ship there. And so when we built our house, I was able to have a space that I could have my stuff. And that's what kind of created me collecting as an adult again. But it was first with comics and action figures and then cards. Mm-hmm. So when like I said, my brother told me about Marvel cards having a moment on eBay with 90MU. When he told me that, within 10 minutes, we were making a YouTube video about it.
Love it.
And so you can watch that video on the channel. It's the first one I did for Marvel cards. And I think it says something like, go find your Marvel cards in your basement. They may be worth money, something like that. And at that point I was like, I kind of did, I think what a number of us have done. It was, you look for other videos and then you start, let me jump on eBay and you start seeing some of these list price, which are manipulative to someone who doesn't know what they're looking at, like I was at the time. Absolutely. And that's a whole nother conversation, but I started seeing stuff I'd never seen before. from 2007, 2011, 13, 2016 Marvel Masterpieces. What? Didn't know that exists. And those things start happening. And within weeks, 2020 Marvel Masterpieces released on EPAC. And I found myself into a Facebook group, MCCW. And on there, because Masterpieces was going to release on EPAC, they posted a video by Ian Taylor and Fausto Barrio Nuevo, Sketch Card Hive, on how to navigate EPAC. So I listened to that video. Next thing I know, I got an EPAC account and I'm buying online with Masterpieces. This is within weeks of each other.
Wow.
Next thing I know, I'm sending cards to PSA. This is all within a month, right? But it all happened on video. So me collecting in a modern way, step by step, has all been on the YouTube channel.
Interesting. While we're on the topic, what's your favorite insert? What's Spidey Hit's favorite insert in Marvel cards?
I know the answer. I'm just hesitant to tell you.
Oh, we're gonna lead into that.
My favorite insert in terms of when I can see one or get my hands on one, if it's done well, is my favorite. It's 1997 Clear Ultra Spider-Man sketch cards.
Wow.
The first major insert that caught my attention in a crazy way was Precious Metal Gems. But it's just I love 1995 Marvel Metal. If you want to watch a fun video on my channel, watch me open my box of 1995 Marvel Metal. It's quite possibly still the most fun I've had opening a box on the channel.
Really?
I loved it. And I love those cards. Those cards held a special place for me in my childhood. I just enjoyed them. It was like peak Justin collecting as a kid, 95 Metal. Right there with, 95 Spider-Man and Clear Ultra X-Men, all that year, 95 Masterpieces. And so the Precious Metal Gems reminded me of the Gold Blasters.
Yeah. And
not only do they remind you of Gold Blasters, all of a sudden, they also have some money attached to it. Mm-hmm. And, when people first come into the Marvel card space, it's hard not to be pulled one way or the other by the value of something or what something would sell for. This idea that you might get something in some way, opening a pack or whatever, and then, down the road you can sell it and make money. It's hard not to be pulled in that direction initially. And, the idea of that certainly pulled me in early on.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that the nostalgia of collecting Marvel cards is now less important, that there are so many new sets? We're not just collecting old cards now. There's new material. What do you think about the new material coming out?
I think nothing beats nostalgia. Especially when you're talking about your 35 to 45-year-old collectors and buyers, which most of us are in this space, watching your videos, watching my videos. That's who we are. Not all of us, but the majority. I have the data to prove it on the demographics on the YouTube channel. Nostalgia is just it's just such a powerful drug. Mm-hmm. And if you couple nostalgia with, if you happen to be a person who the bright spot of your childhood was Marvel trading cards, and it's attached to a real positive memory, so it's a strong nostalgic drug, that's really powerful. Then you connect that to the ability to have community, to feel wanted or appreciated or understood, and then you connect it to the ability to actually sell and possibly make money. It's really powerful. And then you attach it to an experience. I had a saying that I used to say a lot more on the channel, was you can't just dip your toe into Marvel cards. You're all in. It's and what's going on in my brain is you probably have some elements that were similar to me. This just grabbed you in a real special way.
Mm-hmm. My personal journey with collecting, all of us have the same story in a general sense, where we were introduced to them when we were younger. We got them on the schoolyard. We opened a pack and pulled a Wolverine card, and I was like, all right, these are awesome. These are amazing.
Very, very good.
I got back into collecting in 2012, and I worked my way through chronologically. I went from 1990 MU and I just kept working my way through. And I would go on eBay and I would just buy a set, and it would show up in a month because I live in Canada and things take forever to get here. And I would throw it in a binder, and then I would, I'll get an insert set, and I would buy an insert set. And I built and built and built and built, and I just steady went through. But it took me so long going through all of those years. I never noticed that more cards were coming out. I just kept going. So by the time I made it to the 2000s, I was like, what is going on here?
You still fell behind.
Well, I was just like, there's so much more. So I started to think, okay, rather than just doing this, bit by bit, I'm going to start grabbing onto bigger chunks. So because these sets had all come out, I was grabbing them complete. So there was no box to open. The only box I was opening was the packaging they came in. And,
Wow.
I could buy a base set that was completely completed with all the inserts. And my hobby was putting them into binders and, hanging out in an afternoon, just having some peace and quiet and filling up a binder. And then I noticed that people were including in the packages, they were including the packs, the open packs.
Mhm.
So I was putting those in the binder, and it just kind of spiraled from there. And then I realized, I'm an adult and I can look into this. And if I want to open boxes now, I can open new product, and it kind of just snowballed. And you're right. I don't think there is a just dipping your toes into it. I think that you if you have the excitement level about it,
Mhm.
you're looking for ways to keep that fun going, and it doesn't take much to make it fun, does it?
It doesn't for me. I'm a naturally. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm sorry. I just am. I'm just committed to it. Not everything. Life's hard. Let me just back up. Life is freaking hard.
Sure is.
if you ever I know you have, because you've touched the hard part of the earth. When I say hard, it's cold and hard. and so how you bring yourself to it is really important. And for me, I'm just gonna have a good time. Murmuring, complaining, whining.
Yeah.
I don't have space for it at all. My kids, I have two beautiful daughters. When they would whine growing up, I told them, all I hear is, please spank me. Please, I really want a spanking right now. I'm begging for it. That's all I want. I don't want anything else but this spanking. Please, Dad, why are you not giving it to me? That's all I heard when they would whine. Now, if they cried, they got cared for and loved on and nurtured. And, I always tell them, I'm going to leave no doubt in your mind that I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
And when you whine, that's all I hear. And I would tell them, hey, I'd sing Mick Jagger to them. Sometimes you don't always get what you want.
Yep. Yeah, that is definitely a fact of life. In this collecting space of keeping it fun, for myself, I'm not even close to new at collecting sets. Mm-hmm. And then to add to the fun, I became very new at character collecting. That was a portion of the hobby that I didn't know existed because I did it completely on my own, like the set collecting.
Wow, that's cool.
And then finding out that there was no, I had nobody to trade. I had no one to talk to about cards. I had my best friend. I showed my a couple of my binders to, and he was like, "What are you doing?"
You're a weirdo.
100%. So and I still like to draw and all that. So I did that all on my own. But now that I've found the character collecting,
great artist, by the way.
Thank you. And I've now that I've found character collecting, I've been exposed to an entire new side of the hobby, and for me, that's the draw where I feel all in. Is that, I've been collecting Sabertooth, and curating and building this collection has been my absolute pleasure.
I love that.
It has been collecting sets was super fun, and I still do it, and I really enjoy it. But character collecting has just turned the hobby around completely for me. I have no trouble waking up and finding something to be excited about in collecting.
Yeah. I love that you kind of opened yourself up to a new, fresh way to enjoy it, right? Mm-hmm. And I think personality is connected to it. As someone who, because of the channel, I have a lot of different personalities reach out, right? And these personalities, they exist in the space a little bit differently, in the way in which they appreciate or enjoy Marvel cards. And it kind of reminds me of religion, to be honest with you. Like you have a personality that's like really charismatic, jump up and down. Then you have another personality who's got their nose in the book and they're studying, right? Then another personality who's got a robe on and is high church and candles and all this, you know. And then you kind of have like just kind of a little country vibe of it. It's all still their faith of whatever it is, right? But there's just different ways in which they approach it. And it's kind of, to me, it's like personalities kind of drive the way people enjoy their Marvel card collecting. Some are very meticulous, wear gloves, everything's detailed, right? It's like, how can you not have it all perfectly where it's supposed to be? And then some people are kind of like all over the place with it, right? And they're here one day and they're there another day. And the idea of like Marvel Platinum that's coming out is not at all for set collectors.
Yeah.
You know, in the sense of true set collecting, which I think you were describing earlier. But to the character collector, you could spend years enjoying it, right? Yeah. And so this personality over here is like, you know, this is not how it's supposed to be. And then this personality over here is like, wait, this is great. I'm going to enjoy it, you know?
One of the incredible things I think that's going to be probably a bit more evident with larger sets is how the potential for trading. These are trading cards. They're there to be traded amongst other people who collect them. And with all of these cards about to come out, there's a lot of potential to really get back to that.
Dude, I am so glad you said that. I think even for myself, even with the content, the idea of this being a trading card hobby was lost. Mm-hmm. And in trading card, meaning that I have this thing, you have that thing, and we're figuring out a way to trade. Now, to be fair, one of the reasons why that has been lost on me is because I collect Spider-Man, Peter Parker Spider-Man. Yeah. And if I go, hey, you pulled a really nice Spider-Man card, I'm not saying you, the proverbial you, they're going, oh, I don't want to trade this. This is me cashing out. This is me paying for the box. This is me paying for my character collection. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so the idea that someone would trade a non-Spider-Man card for Spider-Man has been really tough.
Yes.
Well, now that I've been collecting Magic, that has not been the case. It's literally a whole new experience for me.
That's great. I love when people find a second character to collect. I love it.
Yeah, it's been really good. And you know, I collected Dark Phoenix, but I kind of grabbed everything around her on EPAC. I went into EPAC, you know, a few grand. That's not true. More than a few grand. And enough to get just about everything I needed. And, you know, the things I was waiting for Dark Phoenix were like one of ones, plates, special sketch, or cut, like very particular things. The available things I had, right? Even the green PMG. So there wasn't really an opportunity to character collect her from a trading standpoint because I wasn't character collecting. I was only chasing everything in X-Men Metal.
You were set collecting. Yeah.
I was set collecting with a character. I was just building the rainbow, right? Yeah. In there. But now with Illyana Rasputin Magic, all of her cards are available in terms of what I want in the binder, as long as they fit in the binder. I've been turning away anything that's multi-paneled, quads, you know, sketches like that, because they don't go in a binder, and I'm not trying to grade it, and I'm not trying to put it somewhere else outside the binder. Yeah, it's just been a new experience.
I love it, and thank you so much for not choosing Sabretooth. Greatly appreciate that.
Hey, Sabretooth is a character that I don't know the right adjective. It's I enjoy when he's involved in the storyline. Yeah, but he is not a pleasant human.
No, not in the slightest. Victor Creed is not the model citizen by any stretch of the imagination.
And I just found out the other day there's like a multiverse of Sabretooths.
Yes.
Which I did not realize, and they're all nasty. They're all mean.
Sabretooth doesn't do any good deeds. That's not really a thing.
He has a Joker component to him, right? Like he just does it to do it.
So very, very interesting that you say that, because there's the amalgamation set where his character that he's crossed with is the Joker.
I forgot about that. That makes sense. I can see why the writers or the creators of the amalgamation set would come to that conclusion.
You know, that's interesting. That is the personality trait of Sabretooth, is that he kind of is the Marvel Joker in a way. Can you talk to us about what it was about Magic that made you land on that character?
The easy thing is to tell you she looks like my wife.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, if you go to Magic the Gathering, MAGIK.gathering, Magic with a K .the Gathering is my Instagram account for the collection that I have for her. In the very first post, card post, you'll see I kind of show the way in which they look alike. But from a character standpoint herself, Illyana, comes from Russia with Colossus as her brother, and she's much younger than him at the time. This happened in Giant Sized X-Men. And she's at the Xavier Institute, but she hasn't developed or revealed a mutant ability yet, right? She ends up getting caught into limbo, where she's basically, and I'm summarizing a lot of stuff, she basically is forced to try to become a Bloodstone so that the devilish character there can open up the portal of limbo and unleash hell on earth kind of thing. And she ends up being trapped there for I think it was 7 years. Okay. So in the storyline, she's like 11. And she's exposed to this hell for 7 years. And to me, it kind of represents what it's like to be a child and to be young, but to be exposed to really heavy adult realities, themes, whether it's you're exposed to drug addiction, abuse, or sexual abuse, or abandonment, those kind of things. And so at a young age, you're thinking heavy, weighty adult thoughts.
Right.
Well, after that period of time, she also develops while she's in limbo, she develops her mutant ability. She's actually taught magic by storm. Don't be confused. It's the whole thing. And then she comes back, and when she does, she's still 11, but she's got 7 years worth of these heavy, weighty memories, and she has to learn how to be a kid while still having these adult thoughts, these adult experiences. Professor X goes in and basically he uses his ability to teach her how to speak the English language like that. And she becomes bilingual. So to me, there's just this relatability of what it's like to have to kind of mature early.
Yeah.
Right. And so now her ability is to create these portals that go in between the kind of the physical and spiritual realm into limbo. And so she's having to constantly battle the two. And when she's in danger, what you might call your fight or flight mode, her body armors itself. It goes into this self-defense, and that's why you get that organic metal arm. And if you've ever seen her in full body armor, that's when she's full-blown self-defense, right? And I think if you had a difficult childhood when you were exposed to that kind of stuff, there's ways in which you do that too. You go into self-defense mode. You kind of go into protection mode that you learned when you were young, being exposed to this kind of things. And I've had to wrestle with that kind of stuff, as an adult, learning how to process all that. And so to me, that they just created just a unique relatability with her storyline and in the way that she deals with it. She has a soul sword, so she's doing the good work, but she's doing it kind of a bad way, and I really like that a lot, actually.
What was the first Magic card you picked up?
Oh gosh,
if you remember.
I really don't remember the first. Gosh.
For myself, my first Sabretooth card was a red Supernova from Beginnings out of a blaster box.
Oh wow, that's a great image in Beginnings. What was my first? There's a good chance that my first was Comic Images, because, and to honor your question, what I'm hearing you say is, hey Justin, when you decided you were going to collect Magic as a character,
that's
what was your first? I mean, I've had Magic cards plenty of times.
Yes, and I've had Sabretooth cards.
Okay, and I have one that I regret that I don't have right now. But in that process, I'm just thinking chronologically with Magic. I wanted to go to what is considered kind of her first trading card image on the card, and then go from there. And then I've had some opportunities here and there to pick up some special stuff. I got stuff numbered to 10, which I really appreciate. Some low numbered out of 25 sketches. I've got, I think, 4 pages of sketches now that I really enjoy. The first one I can't.
That's fine. That's fine. For myself, I like asking people that because for some people, including myself, I had it in my mind for a long time that when I decided to character collect, I was going to collect Sabretooth, but I kind of needed a sign, and when I pulled that card, I was like, I guess this is it. I guess today's the day.
That's a really good point. I really wish I'd have journaled that so that I could remember it, but I was out of town. I do remember that. And I knew I was at the conclusion of the Dark Phoenix collection. Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking about how do I want to continue to collect in this space moving forward. I open a lot of products, so building a base binder set comes really fast for me. I unfortunately have the opposite problem. I'm like, what do I do with all these things? You'd be like, just sell it. Well, then I got to ship it. It's a whole thing. So, and I was just thinking about, okay, who doesn't have too many cards? What character is it out there that I enjoy and appreciate? Because the truth is I enjoy and appreciate more than just Magic. I could give you
for sure
plenty of other ones.
It's a very important decision deciding who you're going to character collect. It's an extremely important decision.
Yeah. I want to appreciate the art because that is a big part of why I enjoy Marvel cards. Mm-hmm. So it had to be a character that I was going to enjoy. If it's female, I really just don't want to do overly sexualized.
Yeah.
I've had in 2020, December 2022, I randomly won the Joe Jusko Rogue painting.
Cool.
And if you're like any, warm-blooded, teenage boy growing up, you liked Rogue.
100%.
I'm from Louisiana man, Mississippi woman. We can do that.
Yeah.
And, really thought about collecting her. But my wife would walk in not knowing the character and see her yellow tight suit and go, is she naked? And I was like, I just don't really want to battle that. I don't want to. I don't want to fight that. But then I happened to be. I bought a piece of art from John Boy Myers of Rogue from Marvel Snap, the game on your phone. It's just a great piece of art. It's pen and ink. It looks wonderful. It's huge. I think it's really nice. I really appreciate it. So now I have these 2 pieces of original art from Rogue, and I was like, should I collect Rogue now? And I kind of flirted with the idea, but ultimately I was like, no. And the other reason I was flirting with the idea is my brother's a Gambit collector.
Yeah.
My twin brother. So he, that would be kind of a fun little, brother collection. But ultimately it didn't work out. I thought about collecting Jean Grey, another wonderful female character in the X-Men. Man, she has a lot of cards. And
there are a lot of Grey cards.
Then you got to define it. Is it Marvel Girl, Jean Grey? Is it Phoenix, Dark Phoenix? Is Madeline Pryor her clone?
Like like we were saying. I mean, making a decision about who you're going to collect is really, really important because going into it, you need to decide what scale you're looking to do.
And budget.
Absolutely.
And budget's a big part. I've already got to deal with, what it means to be a Peter Parker Spider-Man collector, right? Yeah. Who doesn't like Gwen Stacy or, Ghost Spider?
Yeah.
She's expensive. You don't have to, you only can collect modern cards, 2011-ish and forward. So there's a lot, but there's not as much as like Jean Grey, but man, that was a hard one not to do, just because the art on her is so good. Mm-hmm. I can't say I relate to the character as much other than we both wear ballet slippers now.
Let's quickly talk about that. So relating to your character, I mean, like you were saying, Sabretooth is a horrible person.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot in common with Victor Creed, but I do love the character, and I find it interesting that there are people who collect characters because they identify with the personality. And for myself, I don't identify with the personality in the slightest, but I do love the character. And sometimes I catch myself wondering, do I like this character because it's a completely different reality for me?
You're definitely one of the nicest people I've ever met, and I mean that.
Thank you.
I don't think that's necessarily needed. I think that you can enjoy collecting many things about a character. Just his appearance can be one of them. The art, maybe he had an indelible mark on you at some time in your past, and that just is enough fuel to kind of light the fire for the rest of it. I have people ask me pretty regularly, like, are you going to always collect Peter Parker or Spider-Man? I was like, there's a chance they do something with the character in the future that I don't enjoy at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm not going to collect them.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that they can take away what I already enjoy about the character. Everything's not everything all the time to me in that regards. Mm. And so if they over sexualize Magic, which I think is contrary to actually her character, for me personally, I actually think she represents, I'm not saying that the creator said this or did this, but in a way she kind of embodies sexual abuse, having to go through hell as a child.
Right.
And so when they overly sexualize her, that's not the character to me. I don't even want anything to do with it. They do that. So being able to say no to, things is important, but you don't have to necessarily relate. Magneto's on the table for me. Magneto's a great villain.
Oh, absolutely. Magneto was on the table for me when I was making those choices too.
Yes. Yeah. I don't relate to Magneto, but I certainly appreciate how a villain can see himself as the hero, and then vice versa, how a hero can't realize that they become the villain because they think they're doing good, right? They have a higher calling. And so I actually can appreciate that about Magneto, right? This conviction that he has. And so, but yeah, I don't have to relate, but I do want to understand or appreciate or even just be able to kind of dive into the complexity of the character.
I love diving into it a little bit with how complex some of these Marvel characters are so well written. Something I like about Victor Creed, Sabretooth, is that the intention is that his animalistic instincts prevent him from being any other way. He's stuck that way. And for myself, I'm stuck the way that I am. I can't be anything else other than I am. I tell people all the time, I am stuck this way. And I operate in a challenging environment a lot of the time with my occupation. And I've constantly tried to see if I could be different in that environment to kind of match the mentality, and I can't. So I guess I relate to that.
I'm glad you don't.
Likewise.
People like me, like, you don't cuss. I was like, trust me. I grew up on a construction site pouring concrete.
Yeah.
I said enough between the ages of 2 and 18 to last a lifetime.
For people that don't know, like, I live on an oil rig, and I work in a really crazy environment. And I know a lot of people who collect and reach out to me on Instagram are also on the rig, and I appreciate hearing from you guys, and you know what I'm talking about. But it's a wild place. Like you're in Louisiana. You know this demographic.
I help those families all the time, and let me tell you something. It takes a unique family to work on a rig. When you're talking about your spouse being gone at best 2 weeks at a time, sometimes 9 months at a time.
Yeah.
In an effort to provide a life that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to provide. So you're talking about kind of the salt of the earth type people making a way and to provide. And loneliness and separation and wondering what's going on at home, like that stuff can really gnaw at the brain and the heart. And I can only imagine what it can create in terms of just emotional and psychological responses that you have out there on the rig. I haven't been there. I can only imagine.
You're not missing much, but it is. You do witness people going through some things. So like me and my wife are from a small logging town where logging dried up, you know, and then there was fishing, and then fishing dried up. So a lot of people from where we are on the rig. So you can really empathize with. I can really empathize with a lot of people that are there, and some people are there hell bent on destruction, are there to just make it as unpleasant as humanly possible.
Well, I am reminded that humans are a unique creature on the planet who self-sabotage.
You betcha.
We'll take some. Oh, that's really good. Let me make it bad real quick.
That's right. Let me point out none of the good things, but I'll point out the one bad thing I found.
Yeah, I'll ruin this real quick for everybody. Let's do it.
I think that we've experienced this in collecting a lot lately, where there was some negativity around masterpieces. And then in the end, a lot of people got to enjoy this set and enjoy the art and celebrate the things that were positive about it and enjoyable, and overshadow those other things. And now we're going through platinum, where people are a lot of people are taking the easy route of what to be upset about, and rather than looking at us getting original art and comic images and these types of big check marks.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. And it's tough because I don't want to let that kind of permeate my brain.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel guilty about enjoying it.
Yeah, me neither.
In the same way, I don't want to feel guilty if it's just not for me.
Yeah.
You know, look, there's not many, but there are a few sets that I haven't bought and have not opened on the channel. You also haven't seen me make content about it, saying I don't like it.
Yeah, you know, I didn't like Fleer 89, the throwback set. I didn't like that. I didn't like that set at all. I wasn't going to participate in it, and that's okay. That's allowed.
It is totally allowed, so this happened with Spider-Man Metal. Spider-Man Metal was announced in 2021, April, maybe May of 2021. And being new to the hobby, I thought it was announced, it's just going to come out at the end of the year. And that's what they said. It was going to be released December of 2021. Well, December of 2021 didn't come. It didn't happen. And then I kind of moved into the long wait. Like I literally made content about, they had not released a Spider-Man centric product at that point. I'm a Spider-Man collector. I'm Spidey Hits.
Yes.
So I very much would anticipate it, and I made videos about anticipating it. And it's an unknown effect of that. I think it created more anticipation for others.
Mm-hmm.
Although I was just expressing my own anticipation. Mind you, I'd already had my pre-orders put in.
Yes.
So there wasn't this trying to buy it. I had my pre-orders in at a decent price, and now I'm just waiting on it.
Yeah.
And so I made videos about that. Well, it didn't release until August of 2022, and I just had the best time with it. Yeah. But part of the reason I had the best time with it is I actually basically turned off some spaces socially that were negative.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I just don't want that to affect the way I enjoy something. And it was by far the best decision I could have made.
I love it. I think that I want to make my own choice if I like a set or a piece of art or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, when a friend tells you, hey, Dune 2 came out, like I'm the person, don't tell me, and I don't even want to know if you liked it. Don't tell me anything because it will influence.
Don't influence me. Yeah.
It will, you know, I want to make the choice. I want to try it out. I enjoy having the conversation about the sets coming out and the checklist because it is fun to banter back and forth, and it's a topic of conversation. But I don't.
You mean like from a factual standpoint?
Yes.
Not as much. I mean, I can't divorce emotion from myself. You know, I have emotion, but I do think what I've learned in terms of like looking at sell sheets, looking at Excel spreadsheets with checklists, you can have a sense about what something's going to be, but the experience of actually opening it can change your mind about it.
Man, absolutely. Opening is fun.
Mm-hmm. And so Well, for me personally, it's like understanding it. I told you this privately. I totally misunderstood masterpieces. Looking at the sales sheet, looking at the number of parallels they introduced to it, I was like, man, this is, and they cut sketches from 1 per box to 1 in every 4 boxes, which all mentally pointed to this higher print run situation. And for me, sometimes if I'm not careful, if I'm not like really present, the gaps of information in my brain will be filled with the worst case possibility.
Absolutely. And that's very human.
It's very human because we're just trying to stay alive, right? Yeah. We're doing it socially. We're doing it collectively in our hobby, but it's the natural thing for us to do. So it's like when this unknown, like how is this going to play out? Worst case possibility. This is going to, what have I heard? Destroy the hobby, right? I mean, like, and it may be a figure of speech, but you realize what you're saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying that thousands of collectors are going to just disappear.
Yeah.
A whole company that makes this product is going to collapse,
Yeah. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. And it prevents from even having an intelligent conversation about, okay, is this going to be true for every set that's released?
Yeah.
And if that is true, what are then the implications?
Mm-hmm.
But a new set that's never been released, that's a different format from as far as I can tell, in terms of the way the way the boxes are going to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's going to happen. I'm not smart enough to figure that out.
Right.
Time
will tell.
Time will tell. And if I open up, I got a case coming, and the case has 16 boxes. If I open up my case and at the end of it, I'm like, I have more cards here that I don't enjoy than I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to kind of, decide if it's a good book before I read it.
Absolutely. I'm on the exact same page. I want to make up my own mind and enjoy it.
Yeah. And I don't know if you have a little maverick in you like I do, but if you tell me I'm not going to like it, I'm probably just going to swing the other way just because.
I have friends who I share things, different hobbies with, and they're always trying to ruin it because I'm always the last one to find out.
Oh,
they're trying to give me the info. They're always trying to bait my opinion on it. So with them, I absolutely am on the, no, I'm going to maybe the opposite here. But with so many friends in the community and chatting about everything, I've found I have a good skill at putting up a bit of a stone wall. And I kind of make up my mind about how I'm going to have the conversation to not give away too much of what I think about it.
Well, I think that's probably why you're creating content and a good content creator is because you appreciate having your own original thought. You don't mind sharing it. You don't have to wait till somebody tells you if you're supposed to like it or not.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy sharing. I enjoy putting it out there. I'm less concerned about it being agreeable and more concerned about it being
Graydon, I was talking to a guy today and going through a divorce. We get on the phone call and, I knew it was going to be a heavy conversation. Okay. I'm being called for advice, long story short. And we do just kind of a quick little 60-second Southern pleasantries, that we have to do here. And then immediately we're into it and I'm saying some like pretty heavy stuff quick. And I went, hey, let me pause. Like, I understand I'm being really blunt at the moment. And I hope you know it's because I love you. It's the most loving thing I can do.
Fair enough.
He goes, no, I really need this right now. And to me, it's like, there's a way to just to be blunt about something, but it not be harsh or have someone not be able to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can punch you and you can receive that. But I can also come in another way and have you receive it in a way that doesn't feel like it's so offensive, but it actually still be blunt and honest, right? And for me, like that's how I want to deliver. If I'm being asked for advice, that's how I want to deliver it.
Hmm. I think it's important to never give advice until you're asked, and then
Yeah, because they're not going to take it anyways.
that's exactly it. There's enough people that feel as though to weigh in on everything, but sometimes I catch myself saying, "I never asked.
Uh-huh.
I never. You're bringing this up. I didn't even bring it up." But that's the point of having a YouTube channel, is that I'm bringing it up, and if you know about it, you can come here on your own accord and participate.
That's exactly right. Or you can silently silently go, I don't agree.
Yeah, 100%, which they're always silent about, of course. Justin, what's next for the Spidey Hits channel as we get close to wrapping up here?
I actually have I have a few videos that I really want to get posted, and I if the time allows, would like to post them this week or this weekend. One of them is actually the last part of the Dan DeSantos unboxing video that I did, where me and Steven Wallabrew opened up a case together. He had his case, I had my case, and then Dan goes through the hits and decides who's the winner.
Okay.
And I never posted the Dan decides who's the winner video. It's actually kind of fun, but unfortunately I didn't post it because Dan asked me not to, because it was during that time where he was getting a lot of heat because of the private gallery VIP event. And he was like, hey, just stop all the posting for a minute, because he wanted to be able to post an article that basically filled in those gaps that we talked about. People fill in with worst case possibilities. Mm-hmm. He wanted to post an article that revealed how and why and how he ended up at a place where the best thing for him, his family, and his art was to hold a VIP event. And he wanted that to get out first before more content was created. The video I did with where I kind of told my story about going to the VIP event, I delayed that out of respect to Dan. Dan asked me to postpone it, and so I postponed it, and then all the other video content needed to come out after that, and I never had space to post that again. So I want to post that video, and then it's gearing up for platinum. Whenever you're watching this is March the 13th is when platinum is going to be released. If everything works out, I'll actually get my case the day of release. Nice. And I want to open up at least one box, and I like to do my first look box opening, get that video out there, and I like to open that box before I see anyone else open a box. It's kind of the point you were making. I think it's like, hey, I don't want to see a preview of a movie until I watch it, because I don't want you giving stuff away. And so,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm the same way. I generally try to avoid. It's tough with social media, but try to avoid things. Open my box, edit it immediately, post it, and then I'll save the rest of the case for whatever. We got some artist unboxing. We got some artists from Platinum plan on coming onto the channel to open up product with us. Be prepared for that, because some of those artists may be doing sketch cards to give away. So,
wow.
Yeah. I
can't wait to see that. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on and talking about the topic today. I really appreciate the input and having you on as the guy.
Man, thank you. I really enjoy being here. Thank you for coming on the channel. Thank you for, I got my Spidey box right here that you made for me back there. And really appreciate you. It's been great to get to know you. Keep putting out the excellent content. Thanks so much, Justin. And thanks everybody out there for watching. If you like this, like and subscribe. We'll be doing more stuff soon. And take care, everybody. Thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody. Bye.